My own research is in the applications of light, really. It's trying to understand how out there in the universe there might be sources of gravitational waves. These are produced by very violent cosmic events like colliding stars or exploding stars. And we use light to try to search for the signals coming from those faraway sources. We use the properties of lasers, which allow us to measure to incredibly high precision the separation of mirrors in our instruments. And we're looking for tiny, tiny displacements in that separation caused by these gravitational waves. So in that sense, International Year of Light was quite a big deal. And partly also because, as well as 2015 being International Year of Light, it's also leading into the centenary of Einstein's general theory of relativity, which is very firmly connected to that field of gravitational wave astrophysics. But more generally, it's just good to have an opportunity to showcase how important physics and science more generally are for our everyday lives. And one of the themes of International Year of Light is to do that. It's not all about the really esoteric and very fundamental things like Maxwell and gravitational waves. It's also about the practical applications of light. Everything from lasers, which are very important in, say, DVD technology, Blu-rays, all the way through to medical imaging. But in addition, much simpler applications of light, for example, the use of light-emitting diodes, LEDs, which can be a very effective and cost-effective way to provide lighting for the developing world, much safer than using, say, oil lamps or traditional means. So International Year of Light was championed by UNESCO for that reason, so that they could highlight all the many ways in which light technology is impacting on our lives. So in Scotland we have many different science festivals across the whole year. Glasgow Science Festival is one of the biggest, I guess, and it's a great way to bring the story of cutting edge science to the general public. And in fact, something I'd hoped to bring with me tonight, but I wasn't able to, unfortunately, but we have a torch with LED lights to honour Maxwell, which is going to be travelling around all the different science festivals over the course of this year. So it will be on display at the events we have on Saturday, June 13th, for James Clerk Maxwell's birthday, and we're hoping also to display it in many science festivals elsewhere in the country between now and December. I mean, frankly, our expectation was that many people would simply not know that it was International Year of Light, and it isn't just about highlighting it in the festival, but highlighting it throughout the whole of 2015. But I think it provides a focus for the festival. There are several different themes in this year's festival, and in some ways they're complementary to each other, because I mentioned the LEDs, how that's providing an efficient and environmentally friendly way to provide lighting for the developing world. Well, that also ties in with International Year of Green, which is another one of the themes. So, there are sort of underpinning to the festival. It's not that every event has to be linked to them, but it's a way to provide a kind of focus so that different events that on the surface might look quite different with no connection, you can demonstrate that actually they are well connected. And this in a way is a good example of how science now is, that there's a lot of interdisciplinary science that we do now, where you get people from fields that look very separate, very different, but they're all contributing to try and solve a common problem. And that's where I think these broad themes can be quite an effective way to give people an insight into how modern interdisciplinary science actually works.